All right, hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be looking at the OpenAI Agents SDK. I'm a bit late to the party, but in this video, what we're basically going to go through is how to build a basic agent, look at sort of how the agents are defined in the SDK, then take a look at how we build tools for the agent, how you can use those tools with multiple different agents, and then finally take a little bit of a deeper dive with a practical example into how you can actually use and coordinate multi-agent systems within the SDK. So if you do enjoy this video, please do leave a like and let's get right into it. So here we have VS Code, and I will leave the notebook link down in the description so you can just access this on a GitHub. So let's first talk about how you define agents within the framework, how you actually set up some instructions, a system prompt, and how you actually choose your model, right? So throughout this example, we're just going to be using a simple fitness example where we will be sort of building upon creating a fitness agent that will generate workout diet plans for a given user. So you can see to define an agent, we just need to import from agents the agent class as well as the runner class, which is actually what's going to run the agent. And then here I'm also adding in the response input item, but you'll see where this comes in a minute. So the first thing that you can do is you can define an agent and you can give it a name, instructions, and model. It also takes in a lot more other parameters such as guardrails, which are built into the framework, hooks, tools, and so on and so forth. You can also customize model settings such as temperature and so on. For the first example, we'll just keep it simple. We're going to give it the name Fitness Assistant, and we are going to give it the instructions. You are a personal assistant that helps the user understand their fitness profile and their preferences and goals to provide a personalized recommendations and guidance. Now, whenever you want to run an agent, you can define your agent and you use the runner class to essentially invoke the agent. So the runner class has three specific methods: run streamed, and run sync. So run is your traditional async call. It will return a coroutine. And then you have run streamed, which essentially is your same async call, but it will stream the output each chunk at a time. And then you have run sync, which is just basically to run your agent synchronously. So those are the three different methods. In this case, we are going to be using the primary non-streaming function, just run. And we're just going to put in a wait there, and then we can grab our result, which is going to be a type run result. So as you can see, I can provide an input here, and this is essentially what the first message is going to be for the agent. Now, weirdly, where this framework sort of lacks is within the chat context management. As far as I could tell from the docs, there isn't a specific way to, or like a specific chat object or etc. that they sort of give you out of the box. Like some other frameworks do. But that's not really a huge deal. We can build our own, as you'll see in the rest of the video. So here we're basically just asking to generate a fitness plan for this male who's going to the gym 3 times per week. And then what you can do is you can print out the actual output of the agent with result.finaloutput. All right, so let's go ahead and run this simple function and let's see what we get. Okay, that weirdly took 16 seconds, but basically what we get is a simple just workout plan, a plan that really we didn't give much input to, but it's just gone ahead and created. So that's basically how you get your agent pretty much up and running immediately. And result.finaloutput gives you the essential final output that the agent provides. Now this does support structured output. So if you define an object, which we'll do later, you can get that object type, for example, Pydantic model, directly from the agent. So basically in the start chat function, we're just going to simply take in a primary agent, which is a type agent, and a chat, which is just a list of that response input item. Now you can see you can provide a lot of different stuff as input, but essentially what we're going to be providing is this message type, which is your usual, content role type array of messages. So simply we're going to take in a user input. We're going to print that. If they didn't say exit, we're going to continue the flow, append that input into our array, invoke the primary agent with that, and then we are going to just basically use this method toInputList to basically get a standardized chat array that we can basically set back as our chat variable. There's probably better ways to do this, but this is how I've implemented it so far. So with that, we basically have a simple chat UI that we can actually use to talk to the agent. So if I go ahead and say hi, we should see a response from the agent that is somewhat related to fitness. So you can see now the agent's actually asking us questions. We can provide more information. It's not just a simple invoke. All right, so now that you know how to basically run an agent and how to create a chat sort of style interaction with an agent, let's talk about tools. So in the documentation, you can see here that we have basically 4 different types of tools that OpenAI have already sort of pre-built out. The first one is probably what most of you are going to use, which is just a simple wrapper around basically any sort of Python function that you have defined. This could be in a class. This could just be a standalone function. Any sort of Python function, you can use this function tool declarator to essentially use that within your agent. OpenAI also provides the 3 tools that they have from their API, which is file search, web search, and computer tool. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that the cool part about this framework is that it keeps track of all your traces within the OpenAI platform. So essentially, whenever you run an agent within with the OpenAI SDK and you have an OpenAI key that hits their servers, it will show you the trace logs of exactly what happened. So if I click this last trace log and you click on the responses, you can see that this is what I said, and you can see the output right over here. So you will see this sort of build out. And as we get more complicated into tools, you'll see this actually include all that information as well. All right, so what we're going to be using in this example is actually the function tool, and I'll sort of explain what this does and how you can use it. So in this case, what we're going to be giving the agent the ability to do is to save a markdown report of our generated fitness plan locally. So as you can see, I've basically just imported from agents this function tool wrapper, and you can just put this declarator on top of your function, and essentially you can just use it as any regular Python function. Now the doc string, as most agent frameworks do, is what's passed into the actual agent, so it knows what the tool does. So you can see that we've defined saves the use full markdown report locally for a given fitness plan. Use this tool to save the final report once all the details are gathered. You must provide the full report as a markdown string. We've defined the arguments, and then basically we're just going to be writing the file into our local folder reports. So once you basically have defined your function tool, what you can do is you can pass in that tool as a list and just put in the function name. It's as simple as that. So most frameworks sometimes have a lot more bloat of how you define tools and how you pass them to an agent. In the SDK, it's quite simple and seamless, which is, I guess, something that's good. So now let's go ahead and try to get the agent to actually use a tool and then see what that looks like in our trace. So I've gone ahead and said, hi there, can you help me with the fitness plan? The agents responded and basically asked us a bunch of different questions. So let me start typing something out. So I've gone and said I'm an intermediate with 2 years of experience going to the gym. I'm trying to gain muscle and increase my weight. I have regular access to a regular gym, and I like running, and the rest is strength training. And you can see the agent has gone ahead and built us a plan. And let's just go ahead and see if, I don't think it called the tool, but let's just go ahead and see once we say, yep, that looks good, if it automatically calls a tool or if we need to actually tell the agent to save this report. Okay, so actually the agent's asking us, would you like me to save this plan as a markdown document for you? So it's not gone ahead and done that yet, so we can go ahead and say yes. And it should now invoke our function up here, pass in the report, and the framework will automatically in the background handle the actual execution of the function. And we should see a new report come through. So there we go. Fitness plan report .markdown. Your fitness plan has been saved as a markdown report. If you need any more help or adjustments down the line, just let me know. Happy training. So we can go ahead and open this up, and you can see here we have this weekly workout schedule. Okay, so now that we've seen how to define tools and how an agent uses tools, we can do something a little bit more complicated and actually set up some multi-agents that will actually do different parts and build a report sort of step by step. So in our multi-agent system, we're going to have a fitness assistant who is sort of the high-level general agent who is going to take in questions and build our first class here, which is a user fitness profile, which is just going to take in some information about the user. So once he's done that, he's going to hand off to the workout planner agent, who is going to essentially ask some questions about building a workout and build that plan. So that model looks like this. We're just putting in a description, the intensity level, which is just simply low, medium, high for the workout, a frequency of how many days, and then the full workout plan as a markdown string. So that's going to be completed by the workout planner agent. Finally, we're going to have, once we've done our workout and once we've done our fitness profile, the fitness assistant should then pass it over to a diet planner who's going to look at our workout, who's going to look at our fitness profile, and then build us a meal plan that goes along with our workout. And simply, this is the object that we're expecting. So now, since I want the agents to actually ask questions from the user before generating the final output, I'm not just going to pass this model as a structured output. Instead, what I've done is I've basically defined a bunch of different tools that each agent will use to essentially view what the other agents have completed and essentially build upon the report. So this is where context comes in, and this is a really useful part of this framework, which is that basically OpenAI have created a way that you can store different information as your agent or multi-agents are doing different things or taking different actions in tools. So to use context, what we're going to be using is the run context wrapper, which basically takes in a model that you want to keep as context. Now this parameter must be the first parameter for any tool call. So you can see here for every single one of these functions that I've defined, I've put in the wrapper, and the framework will automatically pass this context variable as the agent hands off to other agents or as the agent calls more tools. So let me walk you through exactly what these functions are and how the agents are supposed to use them. So the first one we have here is view current report, which will basically take in the context report, essentially provide the JSON structure of what's been done so far. So every single agent is going to have access to this functionality. And basically at any point it can view the current reports that's generated. By the way, I forgot to mention that a report is basically the fitness profile, the diet plan, the workout plan together. So then what I've done is I've defined individual functions to save different parts of the report. So the fitness agent is supposed to save the fitness profile. So what I've done is I've just defined a simple function that takes in that context and then puts in all the different parameters for the fitness profile. And again, remember, this context is shared across the different agents, so it'll get passed on as the handovers happen. I've done the exact same thing for diet as well as the workout plan. So these are just simple functions that each respective agent can call to save some information. And then finally, we have a tool called Save Complete Report, which is actually just a modification of the previous one, where it will just save that file as a markdown file. Now you can see that not much has actually changed between our previous start chat and our new start chat. And what we're basically doing is just building a blank report at the start of the chat. And we're going to pass that in as context in our runner that it's the report. Now, as you can see on the docs here, they've specifically stated that the context object is not sent to the LLM. It's purely a local object that you can read from and write to and call methods on. So it's basically just a local variable that we're storing some information in. And it's not actually sent, for example, with the tool call unless we explicitly send it. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about context. So just as a quick example of how this is supposed to work, we have our fitness agent who is going to first take in a bunch of different questions from the user and build our user fitness profile, which is going to include things like their name, their weight, their preferences, etc. Once he's done that, he's going to hand over to the workout planner. This guy is going to build the workout plan, and it's going to have things like intensity, what they're supposed to actually do, and so on and so forth. Once the workout planner is done, he will save that plan, and then he will pass back over to or hand over back to the fitness agent, who will then send it to the diet planner. The diet planner will do his thing, build us a diet plan based on our workout and our fitness profile, and then pass back over to the fitness agent, who is then going to finally save the final answer as a report. So here are our agents. I've just basically put in a simple description for each and every single one. And you can see what I've done is I've imported handoff. And so this is what we're going to actually use to define who's handing over to who. So we don't actually need to do anything in our chat code where like we manually need to tell the SDK, hey, hand over to this. We just simply define handoffs. And in this case, you can pass in just a simple list, or you can pass off this handoff object, which allows you to define a few more parameters. So there's some pretty cool stuff in here. You can obviously you have the agent that you're handing off to, but you can also do tool name overrides, tool description overrides. You can have input filters, which block certain parts of the chat context from going to the agent. For example, here we're removing all previous tools used. So there's some pretty cool stuff that you can do, and this is probably a video on its own on how you can do multi-agent coordination, but this framework makes it pretty easy and pretty straightforward to actually get this thing up and running. So our fitness agent now has access to 3 tools right here: view the report, save the user fitness profile, and save the final report. Our instructions have basically told it to do exactly what I just showed you in that diagram. Then we have a workout planner who has a handoff to the fitness assistant, and this guy can basically view the current report and save a workout plan. And then finally, we have our diet planner who can do the same thing except just save a diet plan. Once we have our 2 agents defined, we can basically define the handoffs from the fitness assistant to either the workout planner or the diet planner, like so. So we basically started the chat here, and what we're expecting is the fitness agent to ask us some questions to go ahead and build out our fitness profile. So you can see it said, are you looking to create a fitness profile, workout plan, or something else? So ideally we need to tweak our system prompt, but basically I can give you my fitness profile so you can help build a full plan. So you can see it's used that tool doc string to identify that we need these parameters for that tool. So you can see it's asking us for name, age, weight, height, food preference, and fitness goal. So I've gone ahead and provided my user details, and you can see immediately it called the fitness profile tool and saved that fitness profile into our context with that information. Then you can see it's handed over to the workout planner as it's instructed to do in its system prompt, and basically said, I've saved your fitness profile, John. Now let's work on a workout plan for your muscle gain. It's gone ahead and asked me some different stuff to basically build out a workout plan. So I've gone ahead and said I'm an intermediate, workout frequency is 4 days per week, access to a regular gym, and I basically provided some information to its questions. So we should now see the workout planner build us a plan and then essentially approve it from us before saving it. I'm not sure if it'll actually ask us to approve it, but let's see what happens. Okay, so it did ask us to approve it, and it's generated us a simple plan. So it's identified that our 4 days per week frequency, our intensity level is from medium to high, and it's gone ahead and built us a plan based on our preferences like free weight exercises and body weight, and some running mixed in. So you can see it's done a pretty good job actually, and it's given us a customized plan. So you can see it's asked us, would you like me to make any changes or add anything to this plan before I save it? So it hasn't called the tool immediately, which is really good. And I think it's part of the system prompt that we are asking it to verify this information before actually saving it. So when I say, no, that looks good, it should now call our save fitness plan tool, which should then add this to our report. All right, so as you can see, it's now gone to the diet planner. And what actually happened is that we've handed from the workout planner back up to the fitness assistant, and from the fitness assistant back to the diet planner. So now you can see it's asking us for a bunch of different stuff to basically build out our diet plan. Now, what I actually wanted to do is access our context and look at my user profile and my workout plan and build us a diet plan without us having to actually give this information. So let's see if we can do that. So I've asked it, can you look at my user profile and workout plan and build me a diet plan based on that? So now hopefully what it should do is it should use the view current report tool, or I think that's what it's called, and essentially look at our report so far and then build us a plan. So let's see what's happened here. So it does look like it's actually looked at our plan. We can verify this in our OpenAI after this entire process is done. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I logged the uses of this tool. So for example, when I did view current report, I'm not really printing anything that I've viewed the report. So we don't actually know in the console, but we can verify this in the OpenAI platform. But it does look like it actually did access our plan, because it's identified that it's about muscle growth. It's identified that I basically like chicken, and yeah, so it's built us a pretty decent plan. So now we'll basically say that looks good and see if it saves that. So ideally what should happen now is it should go back to the fitness agent, and the fitness agent should be like, okay, everything looks good. Do you want me to save this report? And it should go ahead and save the final report. All right, so we got a pretty big message, I think. Okay, so our workout planner said, your fitness report is complete. Here is a summary of your workout and diet plan tailored for muscle gain. I'm not sure if it actually saved that, because I think this is an older report. So let's just go ahead and say, can you save the final report? And it should now call that last tool and then basically save this report. Although I'm not sure if it just renamed, replace this file again. Okay, so I do believe it did actually override that file beforehand, and it just made a new one. But you can see it saved the report successfully. And if we have any other questions, we can let it know. So that pretty much worked. So we've gone from one agent to the workout planner. We've saved some stuff there. We've come back. We've handed over to the diet planner. We've come back to the fitness agent. And I believe on that first call, it actually did also save the plan. So if you go ahead and look at this workout plan, you can see that it's put in our user profile. So name, age, weight, height, food preference, and fitness goal. You can see it's put in our workout plan, which is that initial plan that we saw there. And then you can see it's put in our diet plan of around 2,800 to 3,000 calories. So it's actually followed that pretty well. So after refreshing the OpenAI traces, you can see all of the different handoffs and tool calls that were made, and you can actually see how the agent actually went to different agents, what tools it called, and so on. So this kind of thing is very useful because you can actually see that when our fitness assistant handed off to our workout planner, it went ahead and asked us for this information, and I provided it, and it pretty much did not actually save the workout plan and instead just transferred to the diet planner. So these are the types of things that you figure out only with sort of clear tracing and logging. And OpenAI just makes it sort of seamless to actually go ahead and do that. And yeah, I think that's right, because as you can see, workout plan here is null before we actually generate our diet plan. And this is why tracing is so important, because you have absolutely no idea how these agents will use these tools and how you can actually tailor your prompts and build your agents better to do what they're supposed to do. So I would say that's a pretty good overview of how you do multi-agent orchestration. I think there's a lot more you can cover into more detail on how you do handoffs, how you do handoffs of agents as a tool, how you do input filters. And this framework overall seems like a really great sort of flexible enough framework that isn't too complicated to actually do some pretty cool stuff. So if you guys want to see more videos on this, please do leave a like and a comment on what you thought. It always supports the channel, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much for watching.